Welcome back.
Made it with 5 seconds. Way to go, Danny. Let's call this meeting to order and follow me in the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome everybody. This is a special meeting of all the officers to go over our budget. And I would go to item number 3, meeting with county officers, department heads, and budget makers to discuss estimates of needs for fiscal year 2021. So, is that
Wayne, can you cut
right?
50,000?
I'm not saying where it from.
Yes, sir.
In order.
I think you're up.
Even as a casual observer, I think that things are certainly going the right direction here in Logan County. And there's 3 components that make up our budget: our carryover, our estimated miscellaneous revenue, and our estimated ad valorem tax. And all 3 of those we're able to say that it looks like our resources are going to be higher for this year. Our carryover is up about $663,000.
Wow.
Ad valorem estimates up about $239,000. And the miscellaneous revenue estimates up about $154,000. We add all those together, so we've got a little over $1 million this year in the budget to work with. And we didn't do anything unusual or precarious at all. We, as far as these estimates like miscellaneous revenue, we use the same percentages we have in the past year. We kind of be conservative on interest. We know interest is down, rates are down, so we use a 75% estimate on that, and 60% estimate on use tax, which is kind of unpredictable, but still we're conservative, we feel like, with those, and just use 90% of the other reoccurring revenue items in our report here. So when we looked at all the requests that came in from the departments, we had some money left over, $274,000. And it's unusual, but it sure is a good situation to have. And I might say that that's even with the commissioners, the highway budget included this time around at full funding. So I'd certainly encourage you to look at every department, though, see if there aren't some unnecessary things in there. We have done a good job, I think, across the board of kind of holding steady with the budgets. There hasn't been a lot of change this year in what the officers have requested. There are a few that we've highlighted, but pretty much across the board we're staying consistent. The state auditor's budget, that's computed on a statutory formula. We use 1/10 of a mil of our valuation and then a carryover from the previous year, the lapsed amount. So we have to stick with that, but I think that's the reason we have a good budget, that people stayed within their restrictions, and we have some good carryover this year. So that's the bottom line of amount available to appropriate in addition to what has been requested here, $274,191.23.
Wow.
And I agree. I think all the county officers just have done well on not just carrying money over, so I do appreciate that, and I know the taxpayers do.
Kyle, what was the use tax? Oh man, I'm curious.
Let's see.
It's on your form.
Is it? I didn't see it.
No, on the single, right here.
It was single. The use tax.
Oh, I got it.
Increase $83,000.
So that was wasn't an increase necessarily. Oh, it was.
$83,000.
Our estimate increase is
Okay.
$83,000 because we
got
had
it. Okay.
quite a bit
I was
of
just curious
that.
about that.
Any other discussion? Questions? Not hearing any other discussion. On that, I'm proceeding to item 4, consideration and possible action to adjust estimates of needs for fiscal year 2021 and authorize elected officials to sign budgets when completed and returned by budget maker.
So if I may, I wrote that item because, just to refresh memory, the auditor's office now requiring all the elected officials to sign the budget covers, not just the board. So we all, and that would, if this item were to pass, then that would allow me to run around and get everyone and not try to pull everyone into a meeting.
I only have one thing on this one, and it's, I don't believe we probably need to adjust anyone's estimate of needs at this time. However, I will say that based on the previous conversations with the Oklahoma State office and their intent, the college's intent to have the county pick up more of the cost of funding that office and continuing to do that, I would want to caution them that next year we may not be as flush as we are this year. And they've asked for an increase from $96,000 to $111,000 this year. And it will, if we don't have the funds next year, then that will be one of the first places I'm going to look to cut back on, because back to their 2019-2020 appropriated funds for the county, from the county. And that's the only one that I saw that was much larger than any of the others as far as an increase. They stepped up their request pretty good. The rest of the county offices I've looked at, I think it's great. If you look at the 2019 to 2020 to what was requested this year, there's not that much of a change. There's barely, just like enough for inflation, that sort of stuff, and I think it's a great reflection on how the county officers here are taking care of the taxpayers' money. That's all I have.
I'd agree with you.
If I may, and Jerry, please correct me, the $274,000 has to be appropriated. So we do have to change our estimate of needs to absorb that. So I would suggest the general government capital outlay, which we deem to be our quote-unquote savings account, that $274 be appropriated to increase county general government capital outlay to absorb that. It would be available in case of emergency or any large expenditure that needed to be made through this budget.
Is that not already reflected here?
It's not going to be on there, no. So on page 2 down at the bottom, the amount that we submitted as a request to general government capital outlay wasn't even $700,000. This $274,191 must be appropriated somewhere. It can't just be left floating. I would suggest that you consider appropriating it to general government capital outlay as part of our savings plan.
I so move that we do that.
No.
I'll second Marvin's motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Before you vote,
Too late.
would you
Already did.
amend or to include authorizing all the officers to sign the budgets when they're received?
So can we do two actions?
Sure.
One for this, and then we'll get to the, item 4 would do that, right?
Well, the action item is 4.
We're on 4.
Right. Okay, adjust estimate of needs. Okay, so I will amend, with the board's permission, since we already voted on that. I'll amend my motion to include allowing the officials to sign their budgets when completed.
I'll second Marvin's motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right then. Oh, That settled that pretty quick. On to item 5, any citizen desiring to be heard? Not hearing anybody. Comments, announcements, questions by the Board of County Commissioners or other county officers?
How long before the funds are available?
These budget,
Yes, ma'am.
it's probably, I would say at least 30 days.
Okay.
That's my goal, is to hit it by the end of the month.
All right. Okay.
And that was the only question I had.
All right. Then we're up for item 7.
I move we adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.
Doing well, doing well.